We're live. Hey everyone, welcome. My name really is Roy Ripper, just in case you were wondering, is this a wind-up or something? I know we've got some people in the room that know me very well. We've got some people in the room that are brand new to this. Welcome to you. Thank you for investing some time. And I know as a recruiter, time is your most precious commodity. So I'm not going to take that lightly. This is not going to be one of those webinars or training sessions where someone gives you half of an answer and doesn't give you the full thing, or 2 points and you've got to buy my book in order to do this. This session is going to be an absolute standalone session. I'm going to teach you how to start a new niche desk, a new business, a specialized desk, permanent desk, from scratch, from zero, warts and all. We're going to take you from soup to nuts, all right? So for our American cousins, kit and caboodle, you're going to have the whole thing, all right? So no, I'm going to show you a bit and then you've got to buy something in order to get it. If any of you are interested, I am going to, at the end of today, I'm going to talk to you about Recruitment Masterminds, out my private coaching program, and actually there's an online version, a 12-week program. So I'm going to tell you about that right at the very end, but no big sale. I'm just going to, tell you where you can get information on that. So look, without much ado, let's just go for this. In today's session, I'm going to outline a comprehensive 10-step plan for you to build a brand new desk in your existing recruitment business. Now, to be honest with you, you could actually use this exact 10-step plan if you were, I don't know, your existing specializations dried up. And that's where this came from. I've had people recently say to me, Roy, we've come through a really tough trading period, difficult time globally, and the desk that I was working, the thing that I was specialized in, just dried up. That market's dead, and now I need a new market. What do I do? I've had other people that have said to me, Roy, you know what, I want to launch a brand new perm division in our existing recruitment business, whether that's contract or a temp business or an interim business. They want to do perm, but not quite sure which market. It's like, which market do you choose? So if you're one of those people, if you're sitting there wondering, like, I'd really like to do this, or if you're somebody that's got your perm desk and actually just want to know, am I doing it? Is there anything else that I can do to ensure that I'm getting the best out of this? So look, I can just check something. I just want to make sure everyone's seeing me and hearing me. Good. Okay. Everyone, I can't see the video, just Roy's face and audio. Okay. Arkin, I've got it. You've got it back. Okay, that's cool. Neil from Loughborough. I know Neil. How are you, Neil? I hope you're well. And again, too many. I'm just popping up names. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close my chat section just so that I am not distracted. But while I'm talking, please type up any question. When I get to the Q&A, I'll open up those questions. So type the question in as you hear the content. Anything you're not sure about, type it up there. If it's a technical issue, please again type it in there. I've got a team behind me that are checking this, and they'll try and work stuff out for you. Good. Okay, Dee, anything before I start? Is everything okay? We're happy to go ahead.
Yep, all fine.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you very much. Right, this 10-step plan, let's just get straight into this. Step number 1, what do you love? Isn't that a strange question to start with? Write these notes down, by the way. This isn't something that I'm going to give you as a handout or whatever. So these 10 steps, write them down. Write down anything that either I say or you think during this session, because after the session it's too late to remember, okay? So anything that's going to jog your memory. What do you love? The reason why I start off with what do you love is I think that a lot of people just go for, oh, we're going to start a brand new perm desk, and what's the hot desk right now? Renewable energy. Right, let's just do renewable energy. What's the hot desk right now? Oh, it's financial services. Let's just do financial services. And that's fine. That's kind of along the mentality of let's follow the money. The difficult thing that I have with that is if it's not your passion, okay, if it's not your passion, you communicate that. If you're just following the money, it's like, oh, well, that's the new desk to get into. That's the hot desk to get into. What will happen is that you start a desk that you don't love. or and okay, people say to me, Roy, if there's enough money in it, I can grow to love it. I get that, but try and find something first of all with what you love. If you can pick a subject area that you really enjoy, and let your mind, run fairly wild with this. What would interest you? So I don't know. So you couldn't wait to jump out of bed in the morning and get to work because you love that, that area or that arena so much, and just to find out what's happening in that marketplace, you're just desperate to get onto your laptop, get onto your smartphone, get onto your PC to find out. If you can, and this is one of the questions that came up from one of my masterminds, they said, well, maybe we've got a marketplace that we currently work in. Is there any way that we can, new desk, can we leverage that? Definitely. So if you've got some experience within a particular marketplace, but you want to go up the chain or across the chain, that's fine. Even lower the chain, maybe. Maybe you're operating at a senior level. Maybe what you want to do is have a perm desk that complements your senior level, but it's further down the chain. Not a problem. But somebody today gave this expression. They said, if you're on a step, rather than jump, take a leap of faith somewhere into the ether, try and find the nearest step, i.e. a business or a marketplace that's associated with the one or closely associated with the one that you currently work in. But the overriding thing for me is find something that you love, all right? Find something you love, because if you don't love it, or if there's nothing in there to love, then you're going to quickly tire of it. Remember, this is a niche desk that you are going to live, sleep, and breathe. Okay, live, sleep, and breathe. If you don't love something that you're live, sleeping, and breathing, can you imagine how boring and dull that will get? All right, so don't just go where the money is. What we've got to do is find something you love first. We'll work out if there's money in it, and contacts and all of those things. Once you find something you love, do your research, okay? Now, I'm not going to teach you guys to suck eggs. There's so many. I mean, back in the day, some of you are old enough like me to remember pre-internet, when we'd be looking up in business directories and, trying to scan and down at the local business library directories and reports and everything else. Well, you know what? Now you can get this information on your phone. So there really is no excuse for this. I just want you to think about something you love and then start to delve in, start to do the research, get down to a library, talk to others, mull it over. So this isn't a quick process. This is really a kind of a free thinking process. Step 2 is going to be a bit more sort of in depth, but free thinking in the first section. You also need to look at, I like niche, or I love niche. Niche is really, really good, but there's got to be enough contacts within a niche in order for you to build a business from it. So, it's great to go niche. If you're starting a desk brand spanking new, then I'd say to you, start wide, and then what we'll do is we'll come in. The niche will identify itself from the conversations that you have with both candidates and clients. So, but, I don't want you to misunderstand. I love niche. You've just got to make sure that that niche has, I don't know, at least 1,500, 3,000 contacts, people that we can call and ask for business, or people that we can market to, people that we can recruit. It's got to be at least that. If it's tiny, 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 like, I don't know, Cornish fisherman whose name begins with A, it might just be too tight a market for you. Step number 2, burn your boat. All right. Now, I love that expression. Somebody once told me about, I don't know if it's true, all right, but it's kind of like folklore, that when the Vikings first invaded the British Isles, what they did, and I don't know if this is true, but when the Vikings first invaded, as they landed on the beaches, they burnt the boats behind them. And the idea behind that is there is no retreat, there is no surrender. Now with this one, I'm a bit more forgiving. I'm saying burn your boat. What I mean by that is make a decision. Choose a marketplace, all right? Don't do death by indecision. Don't do death by procrastination. That's something I'm guilty of. I want you to go, do you know what? Have these 10 things this is the one I'm feeling. This is the one that's really rocking my boat right now. This is the one that I'm going to commit to. And what we're going to do with you is just go down that road. There's nothing to prevent us from going down the road. It doesn't quite work out. We retreat back. We look at one of the other ones. We choose that and we carry on. But you've got to choose one, all right? The next steps that I'm going to give you are so intense. If you were trying to do this with 10 marketplaces, you would just drive yourself mad. So point number 2, burn your boat, it's decision time, okay? So after you've done that due diligence in the first bit, after you've done your research, pick a speciality, get into that speciality. But choose wisely, all right? Number 3, now this is one of my favorite expressions, make yourself a student. Make yourself a student. I know some of you out there are going to go, yes, Roy's giving me permission to go back and be a student and get drunk and do all the things that students do. I'm sure they study as well. I say this to everybody. I say this to the rookie recruiters. I say this to business owners. I say this to business owners that are trying to start a brand new division or diversifying their business. I'd say it to anybody working within our field, our beautiful industry of recruitment. And that is, make yourself a student of your marketplace. Make yourself a student of your specialisation. There's a great expression in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. I don't know if you've heard that expression before, but I was once taught that by, a really, really successful recruiter, and I asked him. He'd come from IT recruitment, but for some reason he was doing traders and placing traders. Average invoice value £24,000. I don't know what that is in dollars or whatever it is that you guys out there have got, but that's a big average invoice value. Not salary, average invoice 24k, and he was doing fairly well. We had a number of recruiters working. But I asked him, why did you make that switch? Why did you go from IT recruitment into financial trading and very, very high level trading? And how did you do it? And what he explained to me was that when he worked in IT recruitment, he was working alongside consultants that really, and him himself, didn't have a clue about the jobs that they were placing, the candidates that they were, the jobs that they were working on, the candidates they were placing on, the clients they worked with. They just didn't have a clue. It was all jargon, it was all buzzwords, and they didn't understand it. But from doing that, he recognized that in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. He worked out for himself as a junior consultant that if he knew just that bit more than the average recruiter working in his space, he could be successful. And he took that philosophy and he applied it to financial trading. I mean, to the point where he actually went and studied how to be a trader. He didn't want to be a trader, he just wanted to know what traders did. He wanted to understand their mindset. So at his own expense, he paid for himself to do 2 trading models, 2 distinct, the most popular trading models. He trained and got himself training on that to be a trader. But not to be a trader, to be able to understand and place traders. The guy's built a phenomenal business off of the back of just that thing. So in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. What I'm asking you to do is make yourself a student. This is where the more in-depth study and research goes on. Okay, so the in-depth study and research. So I want you, if you've chosen, and let's try and pick a marketplace. I'm just trying to off the top of my head, I don't know. If we were into, and I don't want to insult anybody, this might be your marketplace, right? So let's just try and pick one. I don't know. I'm stumped for a publication or a market. Let me just think about one. Okay, life sciences or biotech, all right, industry. What I'm asking you to do in this thing is, once you've made that decision, I want you to make yourself a student by immersing yourself in that market. Now, what does that mean? I'm asking you, find every single trade journal, magazine, periodical, association, industry body, websites, forums, job boards, everything that you can find. What I want you doing is just focusing in on that particular marketplace. I'm asking you to ditch watching rubbish TV and crap newspapers every day. This is the training that I give to complete rookies. If a rookie sat in front of me, I'm saying, right, immerse yourself. You're a student in this marketplace. Chuck away all the crap novels and stuff that you're reading, and don't listen to rubbish on the radio. Focus in on your market. So if it's biotech or life sciences, what you want to do is subscribe to the magazines, find the websites, find the forums, get involved. Not necessarily contributing, observing. Okay, so you're a reporter. You're somebody that's just assimilating all this information, and this is the thing for you to do. Learn what people do within your speciality and just become knowledgeable. All right, the moment you start immersing yourself and working out what the language is and the what's the word, lexicon, the type of language, the type of words, the buzzwords that are used within your chosen specialization, it's amazing how quickly that goes. But there is a price, and like I said, you've got to ditch the crap TV. I'm a celebrity, get me out of here, and as good as that is, ditch it, all right? If you're watching cable TV, if you're watching Netflix, I'm a big fan of Netflix right now, what you've got to do is you've got to stop it, all right? Because this is your chance to cut a steal on competitors. If you want to just be average, that's fine. Keep watching all the things that I watch, but recognize that that's going to stunt you, okay? That's going to hold you back. This industry is about how much you put in, and if anybody are unsure about that, read the book Malcolm Gladwell, The Outliers. Gladwell talks about 10,000 hours. He said the reason why the Beatles were so successful, 10,000 hours. They gigged in Hamburg 10,000 hours before they were the Beatles, all right? So, and anybody's success, it's like 10,000 hours. Now, some of you I know have done those 10,000 hours, but this might be a brand new marketplace. You've got to immerse yourself. Anyway, I think I've hammered that point home. Point number 4, check out the job boards. All right, check out the job boards. So if you didn't do it in the research, now is the time. And what I want you to do is pick up your specialization's biggest newspapers, biggest periodicals, biggest job boards. And I want you to look at the adverts that are placed. All right, look at the adverts that are placed. Now they usually break down into major groupings. So whatever your specialization is, you should be able to find it. And what I'm asking you to do is determine where the most critical needs are. Right? Now, if you know your market, you know this stuff anyway, but still do this research, because you know what? One of the things I do see with people is they get complacent. So if you're working a market, you go, yeah, this is just about repositioning me, Roy, or refocusing me. Well, do it properly. Okay, do it properly. Look at who's advertising, what are they advertising, what are the most critical positions, what are the salaries involved, who are the movers, who are the shakers, and analyze that data. Step number 5, remember 5 in the 10 steps. 5, find a big one. All right? Find a big one, pardon the expression. Find a massive ad. Find the biggest ad that you can, whether that's in print advertising or whether it's online. Find the biggest job that you can within your sector. Now, don't hold back here. All right? A lot of people go, well, Roy, I've only worked at this really junior level. This is a massive, do I step right up and go for directors and senior managers? Yeah. It doesn't have to be at that level. Maybe it's like a highly technical position, but go for a juicy position. Go for one. Find an ad that's paying good salary, that's, great position, good location, around you, wherever it is, but find a job that you can get excited about within that specialization, within that territory. Okay, this is going to become your search assignment. Congratulations. All right, this is going to become your first search assignment that you're going to work, but you're not going to speak to the client yet. All right, so don't worry about the client bit. Just find an ad from a client that's advertising. This is going to be your first search assignment you're going to work on. Just for the moment, and I know that's going to cause confusion amongst you, I can see some questions coming in. Just park up on it, because I'm going to explain exactly what you're going to do with that job. Now, I want you to really, you need as much information from that ad as you can possibly get. I don't want you to call the client. It's not about you calling that client yet. It's about you understanding the role. It's about you understanding what the potential candidate for that role is going to get. It's about you identifying, if possible, what the opportunity is within that ad. Anyone who's done training with me will know I'm big on opportunity. Forget about selling the job. People don't move for jobs. They move for opportunity. So if you can identify that from this advert, brilliant. If not, just glean as much information as you can. Step number 6, you're going to go headhunting, or you're going to go recruiting. Let's call it recruiting. But indirect recruiting. So don't get freaked out. People that don't headhunt, I'm not going to turn you into headhunters overnight with this. What I'm asking you to do is identify, put on your recruiting hat. Now I know you're all recruiters, whether you call yourself headhunters or consultants or business owners, whatever, you can all recruit, right? You wouldn't be on this webinar if you couldn't recruit. So stick your recruiting hat on and we're going to start recruiting. Use the Google or whatever your browser is, your search engine is. Use the internet. Use researchers if you've got them, okay? And some of you I know outsource your research. You take it offshore. If it was me, I'd kind of want to do it myself. If I was starting up a brand new desk, I'd kind of want to do it myself. But if you haven't got the manpower, if you haven't got the time, you're a business owner, you haven't got the time, outsource the research. But what I want you to do is to call the competitors of that client company, okay? I want you to employ all of your recruitment skills, all right? So everything, I just want you to get descriptive, but I want you to start with the indirect approach. Now all that is you just telling, first of all, identifying the person that you want to speak to. So maybe that's the toughest part of it. But again, with internet, with LinkedIn, with search, you can find people, right? And if you can't find people, then there's other courses and stuff, things that I don't do that I'm sure you can find. But once you've identified potential targets of this position, working in competitor companies to, and they're not your client, remember, it's just this advert that you found. It's your first search assignment, they're not your client yet, all right? They will be, but not yet. I want you to identify the target people or get your researchers to do that, and then I want you to contact them, and that's you, all right? Don't delegate this. This is you. It's not your researcher doing it, it's you. But I want you to do the indirect approach. And for any of you that are unfamiliar with that, it's literally you just, if you were doing it with me, it's you, sorry, if I was doing it with you, it'd be me talking to you about this opportunity. So, hi, I've got this amazing opportunity. Let me tell you about it. Don't go into salaries. You don't need to do that. You want to talk about the opportunity and put the focus, forgive me, I don't want to teach any of you to suck eggs, but put the focus not on what your client's looking for, put the focus on what the potential candidate for this position will receive, all right? Not just money. You want to talk about the opportunity. You want to talk about the growth. You want to talk about what the candidate, potential candidate, will come to get on this. But what you want to do is the indirect approach, and that is really simply, hi, Roy Ripper here from, and obviously don't use my name, Roy Ripper here from XYZ agency. The reason for my call is I need your help on something. Now, most people faced with that request for help will go, oh, okay, I hope so, or I'll try. That's a classic one, I'll try. You then describe the opportunity in a succinct way. You don't want to be going war and peace, succinct way. But you want to ask them at the end, who do you know that could do that job? Now, please write that phrase down. Remember, look, you'll notice I never ask, do you know anyone? Do you know anyone? That's a terrible question to ask. It's not terrible, but it's a closed question. And of course, you could get one or two answers to, do you know anyone? Yes or no. Let's say they say yes. Well, then what question are you going to ask next? Like, brilliant. You do. So, do you know anyone? Yes. Okay, who is it? Or who do you know? So don't waste time with two questions. Just describe the position, ask for their help, describe the position in an attractive way. Remember, focus in on the candidate, not on what the client's looking for. And then right at the very end, who do you know that could do this job? Again, remember, it's not, do you know anyone? Yes, no, it's who do you know? Who do you know that could do this job? Now, I'm not even asking, who do you know that's looking for a job? You don't want to know that. Who do you know? Or who's the best, I don't know, market access professional that you know that could do this job? Who's the best accountant that you know that could do this job? Who's the best financial director that could do this job? That's it. And what you're doing is you're just gathering names, okay? Gathering names. Now, I know some of you are really experienced recruiters, and I don't mean to teach you to suck eggs. The indirect approach, I know you guys know. What I want you to do, though, is at the end of that indirect approach, if you've got somebody on the phone that, and I'm thinking, if your research is good, if you've got someone on the phone that could do the job, and they've maybe recommended somebody, or maybe they haven't, at the end of that pitch, I want you to turn that indirect pitch into a direct pitch. Make sense? So who do you know would be good for it? And they go, oh, I'm not sure, maybe John, maybe... At the end of that, whether they give you names or not, remember, write down the names, but whether they give you names or not, it's like, what about you? What about you? Do you keep your eyes and ears open for good opportunities? What about you? What are you doing at your company? What about you? What's your next move? Just that question, I call it direct and indirect. It's just questions. And it's just a form of questions. Indirect is, who do you know? And I'm not asking whether you want to. I'm just saying, who do you know that could do this? Some people volunteer themselves. Some people volunteer themselves. That's another thing, which is brilliant. Brilliant. I mean, what do you think you could do for this? But who do you know is the first pitch. What about you is the second pitch. So indirect turns to direct. Okay. Now, that's all good. You may, if you're going senior enough, you may have an opportunity to, and they might go, oh no, I'm not interested, whatever. Say, well, what are you working on? They might be a client or a decision maker that's got recruiting needs, and all of a sudden you've got somebody on the phone, and you can ask them, what are you working on? What positions are you finding difficult to fill? What I'm asking you to do with this pitch is step number 7, which is what's called a multi-purpose call. A multi-purpose call. All right, so a multi-purpose call tries to tick as many boxes as we can. We started off indirect, we jumped to direct. Whether we've got anything or not, it's like, what are you working on? If they give you a vacancy, an alternative vacancy you can work on, brilliant. Take it down. All right, take it down. Get full details. If you've got candidates for it, present those candidates. If you haven't, tell the client when you're going to come back, and then present candidates. You are creating a market for yourself. Now, remember the subject matter here is creating a new business desk from scratch. Multi-purpose calls are the key to that. If you just start off thinking, right, I'm just going to do recruiting calls, I'm just going to do new business calls, I'm just going to do, marketing, whatever it is, it's like, no. You've got to make multi-purpose calls. You've got to make every call count. So, when you're on the phone to somebody, be thinking, where can I take this? Where can I take this? Okay, multi-purpose calls, I think we've covered it. Now, you're going to get people, who do you know that could do this? Or, who do you know that could do this? They're going to give you some names. What about you? They might volunteer themselves. You're going to speak to an enormous amount of people. You want to know a stat on this? I would say to you 25 connected calls in a day. 25 connected calls in a day. Actually, sorry, no, forget that. Forget that stat. That's another thing I was going to give you. You want to talk to as many people as you can, all right? So forget the stat that I just said to you. I want you to be melting the phone, all right? Melting the phone. Now, in doing this indirect, direct recruiting, you're going to throw up good candidates. Now, good candidates are good, but you want your most placeable candidate. You want the one that just jumps off the page. You want the one that's like just got tons of achievements, tons of proof in terms of figures and stuff that can reinforce why this candidate is good. You're going to recruit your MPC, your most placeable candidate, but I also want you to find 2 more. Okay? I want you to find the most placeable candidate, but I also want you to find insurance. Insurance is your number 2 and your number 3 candidate. It's underpinning, if you understand that it's ensuring every single deal. Because a lot of us make the mistake on a new desk of just finding a brilliant candidate, and we go out and start making loads of marketing calls, and the clients are going, no, I can't use somebody at that level, or that person's too expensive, or that person's too junior. And you've only got one option, you're only selling one thing. You need to ensure those calls. You need to underpin each of those calls. So I would say to you, find your best, find two more, all right? Once you find your best, keep looking as well. A lot of people go, oh, I've just found the best one, let's just make loads of calls. Rubbish, don't do that. Keep searching, keep finding. You might actually find somebody that's better than your NPC. That's fine, they just become the number two. Find an NPC, recruit two others as you work through your day. Now you've got your best candidate and two others. Guess what? Have I done step 8? I did, didn't I? Yeah, step 8 was recruit your NPC and get two more. Step 9, now we've got the NPC, your most placeable candidate, and your two backups. Guess what? I'm going to get you to present to that search assignment that you took on. Remember the one where you never even spoke to the client? You're going to call that client. Now I know you're out there going, Roy, that's so painful. It is painful when you've got nothing to talk about. It is painful when you ring up and say, hi, we specialise in so-and-so, and we've got, but they're not interested in that. What are clients interested in? Sorry, what are prospects interested in? They're interested in themselves. They're interested in their business. They're interested in what they want. And what do they want? They want a candidate. It's like, they've advertised a position. We've just gone off and we've been indirectly recruiting on it. We just didn't get instruction to do that. We didn't get assigned terms and conditions of business. That doesn't matter. What you've used is those good job briefs, those good adverts as collateral for you to go out to the market and find great candidates. Okay. Now those candidates are going to be, when I say recruit them as an NPC, I want you to tell them exactly what you're going to do. Don't do that thing of oh well, thanks very much, and it's like all of a sudden their CV ends up on 100 people's desks. Don't do that. All right, we're not going to do that. So anyone that we speak to on their behalf, what we've got to do is inform the candidate. We don't need to do that bit yet, all right, until we've got this client position. But step 9 is present your candidate to the decision maker at the company with the search assignment that you've been searching on. So you need to call them, you need to phone them up, introduce yourself, and make a standard most placeable candidate presentation. All right. If anyone's unsure about that, I'll have a template somewhere. So just drop me a line or something. I'll give it to you. All right. So I'll give it to you. So it's just a basic script that says, hey, introduce yourself, tell them what you do, get straight to the point. I've come across an exceptional candidate who's done this, lead with an achievement, back it up, close for an interview, right? So it's a basic structure. If you're unsure about that structure, let me know. Just, email my team or something, info@royripper.com, and we'll get a template out to you. Okay, now the outcome of this call, I'll be honest, it doesn't matter. It really, really doesn't matter, okay? The best outcome is that you get, best outcome is you get interviews for your candidates, or send-outs. Some of you call them send-outs. You get first interviews for those candidates. Brilliant, it's a bonus. Some of you will get an official job order. They go, well, actually that's good, but here's some more information. They might give you a requalified job order. You might get an alternative job order, an alternative vacancy. Brilliant. You might get the hiring authority that you speak to interested in being a candidate. Can you see why these multi-purpose calls are really, really important, whether they're recruiting or presenting or selling? Always multi-purpose, always be prepared for the unexpected. All right, and actually in this instance it's not unexpected. We know we're in there to get interviews, we're in there to pick up a job, we're in there to pick up maybe other jobs, we're in there to pick up information. And if nothing comes from this, if the client says no, thank you, we've got it filled, we've got everything else, just try and get one piece more of information. I don't want you leaving that call with nothing. I want you to be able to walk away from it, or put the phone down and walk away from it, feeling like, you know what, we didn't get a job, we didn't get send-outs, we didn't get alternative jobs, but I got more information. And that more information might be, when you are recruiting, Mr. Client, what do you find hardest to recruit? What's the last position that you worked on that caused you the most grief? What are you working on currently that's causing you the most grief, giving you the biggest headache? Any information is good. And don't come off that phone call going, oh, I didn't pick up the job or I didn't get sent out. It's failure. It's not a failure as long as you've got a piece of information that makes your next call in there, more valuable. Finally, step number 10. Remember, this is the final step. Take the MPC and the 2 new candidates to your new niche and market them. Okay, take the MPC, take the new candidates, and take them out to the marketplace, to your niche, because you've got 3 great candidates. You've identified who the competitors are to your client. They're the ones to call. All right. Introduce yourself. You do a standard MPC presentation. This is where I want you to think about the stats. People go, well, how many calls do I need to make? You need to make as many calls in the day as you can in order to connect with 25 people. Now, what I mean by it is people go, oh, well, do I have to make 100 calls? Like, no, not really. What you need to do is you need to have connection with 25, at least 25. So 100 calls is fine if all you're doing is just, I don't know, picking up the phone, dialing, getting a voicemail. Right, that's 1. Dialing, picking up the phone, voicemail. That's not, I don't care about, it's not a numbers thing. It's about how many you connect with. And I would say to you, a good universal industry stat is if you can connect with 25 people, the industry average is that you will be able to present to half of those connections. So you might make 100 calls but only connect with 25. You might make 30 calls but connect with 25. The stat is 50% of those you'll be able to make your presentation to, a full candidate presentation. And so on 25 calls, that's what, 12, 13 presentations. The stat is that you will get at least 1 send out from that activity per day. Now, I don't know about you. Some of you are going to go, well, 1 interview a day is nothing. It's like, I do 5 a day or whatever. Some of you might turn around and go, actually, Roy, I'd be really lucky if I get 1 a week. But based on those stats, 25 connected calls, 12 to 13 presentations, you will get 1 candidate interview, 1 first interview out of every day. And if you don't, there's something wrong, and we probably need to talk about, that structure of your call. But that's the stat. Now, if you were, putting out there 5 first interviews with brand new clients, brand new niche, you can see how quickly you're going to start to create a name for yourself, and particularly if you're representing good quality placeable candidates, your most placeable candidates. That's the way to go. A couple of final tips for you. You need to work in an industry for at least 3 months before you can kind of make judgments on, the upside or the downside of a speciality. A lot of people just kick it off and go, oh no, we're not getting the results after a week. It's like, no. You need to dig deep, and that's why I'm saying to you that call ratio in terms of number of calls per day, it's really important in that first 12 weeks. Really, really important. If you've got a rookie coming to work for you, really, really important you keep them at it for 12 weeks. Don't let them shy off. Don't let them come to you and go, oh, well, I've really tried and nothing's coming through. It's like, let's switch the marketplace. Don't. Invest 12 weeks in each of these specializations. Remember, if it doesn't work, fine. Retract, pick up another one. Let's go down in that into, dig the same process again, same 10-step plan. Good. Okay. Now, listen. I've just noticed the time as well, and you're all in the room. I'm so pleased. Listen, I'm going to open up the Q&A. I can see the questions are in there. Some of them from some really dear masterminds of mine. So good you're on here, guys. Graham, Yoni, I can see that you're in the room. That's cool. Before I kick off the Q&A, some of you I know need to get off this call, and that's fine, all right? Thank you for joining me, and if you're interested in the recruitment masterminds, the private coaching group that I've got is closed, all right? So that's full. We're not going to take anybody in for that. Well, I was going to say for this year, but definitely not in the immediate future. But we do have a 12-week online program for recruitment business leaders, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pop it up into a window for you if I can do that. Hold on a second. So if any of you need to get away, that's fine. For any of you that don't need to get away, stay on for the Q&A. But I think you should see something up in your right-hand side that if you're interested in Mastermind, click the button. It will take you to a page. It will tell you all about it. I'm not going to do sales pitch for masterminds on here. It's a 12-week program. The rest of the information you'll find there. Right. For the people that have to go, that's fine. Hasta la vista. Thank you very much for joining me. For the people that can stay on it, please, because I want to try and answer every single one of these questions that have come up. So let's go back to it. Dee, if there's anything that came up whilst you were handling it, please just type it in for me. Let's just go for this. Right. Peter, thank you very much. Hi, Roy. Thank you for this. It was really good. Made me realise that I follow a very similar process. Brilliant, Peter. You know what? This isn't reinventing the wheel, but for some people, it's just reinforcing the wheel. So if it's giving you any kind of like just mental triggers again, brilliant. Let's go to the front of these questions. I can see, let's have a look. I know two of my masterminds. Graham, when you tell the candidate the name of the client, great question, Graham. Graham, on the indirect approach, okay, on the indirect pitch that you make, I don't want you to reveal the client's name, all right? So again, people just be very, very careful in terms of your description, because sometimes there is only one player or two players in a market, and candidates go, oh, is that, you know, AstraZeneca or whatever? It's like, even if they guess it, I still want you to go, no, it's not them, all right? So even if they guess it, I would say, the important thing is you don't reveal the client identity. Now, there's several reasons. It's not about being underhand. It's about, first of all, protecting. I know they're not your client, but protecting the client at that stage, because you know they might not be interested in this candidate. You might not be interested in this candidate. This is really a kind of an exploration of the market to find out, first of all, to talk to people, but to find out their interest in potential moves. Now, if the candidate turns around and says, actually, look, I'm really, really interested, but I do want to know who the client is. Say, look, at this stage, thank you. I need to go back to my client. I'll talk briefly about you, but not revealing your details. I'll keep your details confidential. Go back to my client. Once, if I can get agreement with the client, and you know, you'll recommend him or not, if I can get agreement with my client, I'll come back to you. And it's at that stage that I'll be talking to you about who the client is. You know, you and I will get to meet, etc., etc., etc. So for the time being, I want you to keep your client. I want you to keep the company that you're doing that initial search on confidential. Now, some of you I know will be worried and going, oh, you know, are we just making stuff up? You're not. And you know what? You're going to be doing this for a really, really short period. Really short period. The moment you start to get live positions on from those multi-purpose calls, you're not phoning people up with an advert that you've seen, all right, the best advert that you can find. You've then got real jobs. But you've got to start a desk somewhere, and that's the way that you do it. Good, okay. I'm going to try and, because I know some questions coming in thick and fast. Yoni, while doing this from indirect to direct, how do you justify you changed your name and company name? Yoni, let me understand this. What I would say to you is you don't change your name at all. So, you know, I will introduce myself. Hi, it's Roy Ripper. I specialise in this. And by the way, you are specialist in whatever it is that you're phoning with that day. All right. So if it's life sciences, we go with that. I specialise in placing life sciences people in the Northwest, etc., etc. But on the call, you don't reveal the client's name. So you're saying, okay, I need your help on something. I'm recruiting for this. Who do you know? Right. So we explain the position. Who do you know? And they go, oh, this person, this person, this person. Brilliant. Thank you for that, Yoni. I've got those names down there. Yoni, whilst I've got you on the phone, what about yourself? You know, what would it take for you to consider a move right now? What's your next move in your current company? So you start be careful, because the terminology I know sounds very complicated, indirect to direct. It's a question, all right? It's a nuance of a question. So you don't tell the client's name. You certainly would give them your name. We're not doing anything underhand, so please, it's not using pseudonyms or anything like that. It's just a call, all right? It's just a call. And some great feedback. Thank you very much, everyone that's saying. Arkin, brilliant. Rob Shelvin, fantastic. Thank you very much. Good, okay. Let me just deal with these questions here. And guys, I'll stay on this call for as long as you've got questions, so keep firing them up. I can see that a lot of you are in the room still, and that's brilliant. I'm really, really pleased. let's have a look. I'm going to try and take these in the order that they came in. So, Peter, that was really good feedback. Thank you. Top 2 questions, Graham and Yanni dealt with those. Okay, Tristan, would you recommend building relationship with a client decision maker before marketing candidate, or use the marketing candidate to you as a way to start building a relationship? Great question, Tristan. Really, really good question. Look, here's the deal, right? And Tristan, I'm presuming this is the case for you. The clients that work with you love you, okay? Any of you, if you're recruiters and you've got your own client base, I bet you your clients, if I phone them up, they go, oh yeah, I love that guy. Oh yeah, I love that girl. She's really, really good. Oh man, they go the extra mile. Your clients. Prospects, i.e. people that you're not doing business with currently, they don't give a monkeys about you. They don't even know you. So the only thing that they care about, remember, is themselves, their business, their vacancies, their problems, their challenges. So Tristan's question is, it's a good one. You know, do I work on building rapport with the person first, or do I just get into marketing the candidate? My answer to that is lead with the candidate. Because, you know what, you might build rapport, and Tristan, I'm sure you are a great rapport builder, but when you're going in blind like that, they may like you, right? Some people I know are just naturally they're rapport builders. They get on the phone and you want to listen to them. But the thing that the client or the prospect's more interested in is what you can do for them, all right? It is, in fact, the candidate that's in your back pocket. Now, I know client companies that don't give a monkeys. They don't give a monkeys, and forgive me, people that are globally thinking, who is this guy talking about don't give a monkeys? They don't care about where the candidate comes from. They don't care how big you are as a recruitment agency. They don't care where your offices are. They don't care whether you're working out of your back bedroom. That's why there are some recruitment consultants that will leave you, start up rival businesses down the road or out of serviced offices, and you're left thinking, oh my God, how can they do that? And clients are listening to them. It's because clients don't really care. They don't really care where the candidate comes from. They just want the best candidates for themselves, all right? So the answer to that, Tristan, is I would always lead with the candidate, but do it in a rapport building style. Lead with the best candidate you've got, your most placeable candidate. You're going to present the other two anyway. And in doing so, you're going to build rapport. If the client or the prospect doesn't react to those 3 candidates, the rapport build is, look, I'm, really glad that I could run these people past you. Clearly, they're not hitting the mark. What would I need to call you with next time, Mr. Prospect, in order to really get you fired up, for you to be biting my arm off? What would I need to be calling you with? What do you find hardest to recruit? What does one of those look like? All right, so you're taking a kind of an alternative brief just by making that call. I just want to make sure I don't want to miss any of these questions. Tristan, we dealt with yours. Mark, how to target decision maker and client company when presenting a candidate? Great question, Mark. Great question. What I would do there is, when I've got a candidate, this is a really good question, because a lot of people go, this is getting past the gatekeeper, right? I'm figuring, Mark, your question. When you are dealing with an NPC, all right, so when you try to recruit someone, they go, yeah, actually, I might be interested in that position, and here's my circumstance. I didn't tell you this because obviously we don't have time in a really short training session, but I want you to qualify that candidate before you work on them. You don't just go, hey, you're great, brilliant, now let me market you. I want you to qualify that candidate. I want you to find out about their achievements, their accomplishments. I want you to find out about their needs and their wants. But part of that is you are going to definitely build rapport, just borrowing Tristan's word, rapport with that candidate. Now, when you call up into a potential company, you haven't got a vacancy, all right? So your relationship relationship or responsibility is not to the company you're calling, it's to the candidate that you're representing, all right? So when I call into a company with a candidate, I'll be saying to them, hi. Now, you do need to identify the name of the person. I always think it's a bit dumb, particularly given that the power of the internet, to not know the name of the person that you're calling into. So use basic search techniques, LinkedIn, etc., just to find the name of the person that you want to contact, the client contact, hiring authority. And when you call through and you ask for that person by name, so hi, is Dave Smith there? Yes, may I ask who's calling? Yeah, it's Roy Ripper. Will you know what the call's regarding? These are all the questions I ask. Yes, he should. you know, what I'll do is, sorry, will you know what the call is? Yes, it's a confidential call. Now, you know, I don't actually use the word personal because some people go, oh yeah, it's a personal call. I don't never use that. Yeah, could you tell him it's a highly confidential call? Now that will pique someone's interest. All right, I've had very little resistance to that. I have had a gatekeeper come back and say, oh look, I'm so sorry, Dave Smith doesn't know you. Could you give me a bit more detail? I'm really sorry, as I did explain, it is a confidential call. Here's my number. Please ask Dave to call me at his convenience, phone down. So when you're making that kind of call, I think the mindset's the most important thing. If I had to give you one tip, it's have a mindset of the person that you are going to introduce can make a massive difference to the company that you're calling. Whenever I've thought like that before the call, it puts me in a position of power. You know, I encounter little resistance. There's more stuff that we can do in terms of getting past gatekeepers, just not within this thing. I hope that helps. Mark, let's have a look. Some great questions coming through. Michaeli, thank you. Nice feedback as well. Peter's asking, I specialise in the plastics sector. I've been doing it for almost 8 years. In August, I joined a new company in the process of building a new client base within the same industry, bearing in mind that I've got restrictions from the previous job. Get it? Key issues, I'm not doing any UK recruitment, and statistically 80% of previous business was in Germany. Overall, 92 to 3% was in mainland Europe. Peter, I'm just trying to see if there's a question on the end of there. Peter, just ask me if you can. I just want to see if there's not a question. Okay, Peter, what we've outlined in that 10-point plan, thank you, Mark. I'm glad that that was useful to you. Thank you, Victoria, as well. Great feedback. Tristan, really great answer. Tristan, that really makes me smile, man. Thanks for that feedback. I love that. Barry, awesome old school progressive training school. Good. I love old school. Call me traditional. If being busy and making money is old-fashioned, I am more than happy to be old-fashioned. Barry's loving it. Good. Okay. Cool. Okay. Let's have a look. Oh, okay, Peter. What would be your advice when speaking to a potential client in Germany? His first question is, why would I want to work with a company in England? Peter, it's a really, really good question. And I do know the German market. I've got recruiting clients out there in Switzerland and Spain and other parts of Brussels. Some of them are on this call as well. Lucky I remember the Brussels. I do know that, right? And there is, I know from those other Europeans as well, sometimes there is a slight bias and it's like, okay, why should I speak to you if you're in the UK? I'm a German company. Why should I speak to you? You get round that objection, okay, by the quality of the candidate that you call them with. Simples. All right. The stronger the candidate that you are brokering in there, the more reason they will have for taking that call and listening to you. Most recruitment businesses, when they're trying to pitch into Germany, won't lead with the candidate. They'll say, oh, hi, we're based in the UK. We deal with lots of German clients, and they're going, why should I deal with you? And rightly, there's no reason for them to be considering a UK or anywhere other based recruitment business other than German recruitment based businesses, because you're not offering anything. Call with the strongest candidate in your arsenal and they will take the call. If they don't take the call, call their competitor, because they should take the call. I hope that helps. And actually, Peter, if there's anything else on that, direct message me or message me through LinkedIn. I could probably help you with that, but you know, I won't wish you luck. Work hard. That's going to grow that division for you. Daniel, we're looking to launch a new division to our business industry where people are particularly clicky, right? Would you go for someone, man, there's so many questions coming in, I'm dropping them. Would you go for someone from the industry who has the potential to be in recruitment or an experienced recruiter within the sector? The recruiting space do not have the best rep. Daniel, it's a very, very timely question, because I know I've got a couple of my masterminds on this that have asked me exactly the same question. It's like, look, do I find an existing recruiter that's got, you know, the client base and everything else, or do I build it from scratch? Here's my answer, because I gave this answer out earlier on today. If you're looking for speed, all right, you're looking for speed, for traction, for immediate penetration, definitely buy in that experience, right? Go to somebody that's already got a desk and bring it in. The danger with that, because that's not my preferred method, right? I'm going to tell you my preferred method in a minute. The danger with that, and with all due respect to everyone on this call, because we're all experienced. I'm not running down that experience at all. But the reality is that when you take on somebody with a lot of experience, the potential for them coming with a lot of baggage is also there, all right? And the problem that throws up internally with you, with your other members of your team, I've seen more disasters than successes. So, maybe it's me, maybe it's my personal experience, I've had my fingers burned, but my way, the thing that I would almost always try and get my masterminds to do is grow from within. And Daniel, you asked the question. I think if I was looking to grow a division, I would try and find tenacious, committed, loyal, hard-working, second jobber salespeople. Find people that have sold product rather than service. I know it's a kind of a bit of an irony. I'm talking about selling recruitment services. Find people that have sold product, because when they switch to service, i.e. they'll have that product mentality, they'll have that features and benefits, and they'll sell using benefits. Try not to take on people that haven't sold. That's too risky. You do get some gems, but you've almost got to kiss a lot of frogs in order to get that prince or princess. So, I'd say to you, second job of sales, I don't, graduate equivalent, street smarts, I don't really care around that point, but they've got to have sold something, and it's, advertising space, door to door, anything. They've sold product, then we can deal with that, and they've got the right attitude. So I hope that helps, Daniel. Let me just scan the questions, just see if there's anything. No worries, Peter. I'm absolutely brilliant with that. Peter, as I said, if you need any further help, just message me through LinkedIn. Any of you on this call, by the way, if you're not connected with me on LinkedIn, connect with me. All right? I love connecting with any recruitment business leader or anyone that's interested in being a recruitment business leader. Connect with me. I'm happy to accept your invitations. A couple of other points while we're on it as well. Anyone who wants more information in terms of other stuff that we've got, on the bottom of this, I think you've got my thing that says royripper.com. There's loads of stuff there. YouTube, there's loads of free videos, etc., etc., etc. Right, let's get back to these questions. Nikayla, I like it's a confidential call. I can see it. Do you know what, Nikayla, as well? It's a brilliant one, absolutely brilliant one. If you're a woman and you've said it's a confidential call and you're calling a male decision maker, very, very few gatekeepers that are going to go, sorry, can I ask what the call's regarding? If you're a guy and you're phoning, into actually it doesn't even matter. I'm thinking the fact that you say it's a confidential call, and it is. I mean, and actually, look, let's just deal with this. Nikayla, if you get through to the decision maker and they say, oh, hang on a second, you told my assistant that it was a confidential call, it really is, okay? So thanks for taking the call, John. The reason it is a confidential call is that this candidate has retained me to explore opportunities within your company and others similar. She isn't on the open job market, and we didn't want to announce, particularly because she works in your industry, she works at one of your competitors. She was adamant that I spoke directly to you. It's a perfect pitch. I'm glad that you like it, Nikayla, as well. Good. Okay. Rob, not old school, it's right school. Rob, I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you. Chris, I feel sometimes be quite repetitive selling NPCs to the same contacts again and again. Do you have any advice on more unique pitches to selling NPCs? Chris, I can help on that. Obviously, we're limited in terms of time. NPC globally is the #1 call for you to make, but reference call is the #2. Editorial call is the #3. There are 9 what I call valid business reasons to call into any company. If you contact my office, Chris, I'm sure, so info@royripper.com, I'm sure we've got something that I can send you that gives you a breakdown of those 9 potential calls that you can make. On the MPC, Chris, I would say to you, each MPC actually is very unique. And you know, sometimes I've worked in markets where actually my MPCs aren't my most placeable candidates. They're just the best that I could get. So they were pretty average placeable candidates, and I never really got excited about them. When I got excited about a candidate, boy, I was unstoppable. You couldn't stop me. I wanted to make calls because the candidate was so great. They made me look great in markets that I didn't have a presence. So this is the key thing with an MPC, that it'll open a door for you that you on your own, or even just the backup of your company. I don't care whether you're a huge company. The person taking that call, quite frankly, isn't interested. What they're interested in is what you can give them. Okay, and an MPC, the most placeable candidate, is the best one. So, Chris, I'm happy again to do some work with you on that one. You know, maybe looking at your MPC presentation and trying to give you some specific advice. I think we dealt. Oh, actually, there's one from Kelly as well. We're looking to move into a subsector of property. However, there are many competitors already established. They've got long-term relationships with most of the decision makers. How do you suggest we break in without lowering the fee to compete? Good, Kelly. Do not lower the fee to compete. All right. If I find out you're doing that, Kelly, I'm going to come down there and I'm going to, you know, kick off with you and your team. So definitely don't lower the fee. Chris, the MPC actually has to be an MPC. Good man. Okay, that's cool. Kelly, how do we break in? Okay. And actually, it's a really, really good one, because the objection that you might hear alongside that is, oh, we've got a preferred suppliers list, or we use a specific agency, they've been our long-term agency forever. Okay. Now, on an MPC call, you are not, and this is something that I tell clients as well, oh, look, when they tell me we use another agency or we've got a preferred suppliers list, I always compliment them. All right. So there's a really quick tip for you. I always go, fantastic. Obviously, quality is really important to you. You know, because let's face it, no one wants to hear that their buying decision is rubbish. Can you imagine if you turn around and go, and I know a lot of, I used to do this as a recruiter, I hear preferred suppliers list, and I go, oh, right, really? Oh, okay then. And you can hear the disappointment in my voice. I trained myself to be positive and upbeat. So when they go, oh, we've got a preferred suppliers list, that's brilliant news. Obviously, quality recruitment process is important to you. Now, the reason for my call is not to upset that PSL. Let's keep that in place. If that's working for you, brilliant. The reason for my call is different. The reason for my call is this candidate's asked me to approach you in confidence on her behalf, and I just want to do that. I just want to introduce you to somebody. But hey, listen, you know, this isn't about getting on your PSL. Too many recruiters try and do that. It's like, oh, how do I get on your PSL? It's like, look, this is a long road. We're in it for the duration. You don't have to crack the PSL in your first call. The objective on your first call is to establish credibility. The objective on your first call is actually to establish credibility by using the candidate. This is the type of candidate I'm going to call you with. And actually, coming back to Chris, if you're making those calls into clients, I know that it can feel from your point of view that, oh God, you know, we're not getting anywhere, or, you know, the client's not picking them up. But what's happening subconsciously is the client or the prospect is aligning you and associating you with high-level, good quality candidates. Now, they may not have needs at the moment. They may not have needs that they want to share with you. They may have a preferred suppliers list. They may have, you know, I've had some where they've gone, oh, my brother owns a recruitment business and that's who we deal with. I've had that. But if you are consistent in terms of that approach, ultimately the client will turn around when they do have a need and go, hang on a second, who's that guy that keeps calling us with great candidates? So don't give up on it. It is a consistent process, and it does get, you know, it is quite wearisome, but it does pay off in the end. So persistence, 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 name of the game. Some great questions coming through. Kelly, did I deal with your one? I think I did. If I didn't, come back to me. Let's have a look. Peter, another thing, quite often I work on jobs in Central Eastern Europe, and the biggest issue relates to recruitment cost. How would you tackle a client who says they have agencies working on their behalf for 20–30% of value fees offered? Peter, I know exactly what you're talking about, and actually I've encountered that. I think in certain countries in Central Eastern Europe, there's one territory that I know where there is one job board. You know, there is just one job board for that complete country. Everyone advertises there. Every client company advertises there. Every candidate knows it's the one place to go to. And because of that, it's really, really hard to differentiate. It's really, really hard to differentiate because from a client's point of view, they're like, do you know what? It cost me tuppence halfpenny to stick this job up or they're on the job board. And so they do that. Now, in those regions, what I've told my coaching clients is, you know what you have to do is you have to try and change it. So either it's find candidates that aren't going to that job board. The other thing I will tell you is even when your clients do advertise on those job boards for virtually free or whatever, they're not writing ads in the way that you can attract candidates. And the type of candidate that they want for specialised, niche, senior, critical positions, they're not really trawling through looking for a job. And that's the argument I would always use. The best candidate for your job is not looking for a job. The best candidate for your opportunity is currently working for somebody else, minding their own business and getting paid quite well. And for you to get that best candidate working in the market, not the best candidate sitting on the job market, we're going to have to go out and get them. It's proactive. And for that, it's a fee. That's not a let's place an advert. You place an advert, you get the best people that are looking right now. Peter, I know it's quite tough, and I do know that specific territory as well that you're referring to. It's a slightly more complicated sell, but I do know some recruiters that are absolutely kicking it in that region. So I'm not sure they'll want to disclose their trade secrets, but maybe I can kind of get you in touch with them. James, great session. I bet we get access with a PDF for breakdown of 10 steps. We utilise Juice. Is it on there? James, Juice isn't on there. Juice was something I did. All right, Juice is not something that I'm involved with actively. I'm still a shareholder, but not involved with that. But you know what? There is. Is there a PDF on this? Dee will probably answer. I actually don't think there is, James. I hope you took notes. But what you will get is a link to the replay. So if you didn't take notes during the session, get the replay, crank it through, and just write as many notes as you can. There isn't, to be honest, there isn't a PDF with this particular session. There'll probably be something else. So we'll find something else. But get someone else. In fact, get one of your staff maybe to look at it and take notes, and then use those notes yourself. Daniel, we've been burnt a couple of times with pure sales, but product or service previously. You think we get more success from someone who already knows the industry sector? Yes. This should limit the amount of research. Yeah. Daniel, what I've seen is if you get someone that works in the sector, but not necessarily as a recruiter, that's good. But be very careful if they've not sold. I've seen a lot of people that are industry captains, and they go, wow, I can work in recruitment, make a lot of money, and then they come in. If we haven't told them it's a sales job, it's like a baptism of fire. They're like, oh my God, I didn't realize this is a sales job. So for those, in fact, for anyone we bring into recruitment, I want all of you just explaining to people at the interview, this is a sales job. Tell them, I know you guys all do the upsell in terms of like, oh, it's wonderful and we love working, and we do, of course we do. There is a great up. But somewhere during your selection process, reverse sell it. This is a tough industry. This is a no industry. You will hear no more often than any other word in the English language. You'll hear it every single day. It's demoralizing. You'll feel like a kick in the stomach every single time that you get a no. Tell them that, because what I don't like is when we bring people into our industry and then there's a false expectation, they feel like they've been missold. It is a sales position. They do need to make calls. They do need to sell jobs to candidates, sell candidates to clients, sell clients to jobs. No, sell clients to candidates. It's a sales job. We're selling internally, we're selling externally. It's a sales job. Let's not dress it up any other way. In answer to your question, Daniel, yeah, if you can find people that know the sector, it's how I first got into recruitment. I knew the sector, just never worked in recruitment before. But where it was useful for me is I understood the candidates, I understood the clients, I understood the terminology, the lexicon that they used, and then all I needed to do was learn recruitment. And I don't mean it to sound really easy, it's not. But recruitment's a process. Attitude is something you can't teach. You can encourage, but you can't teach. Christian, I'm only 18. Great. Work with financial services and accounts. Don't ever apologise for being 18, Tristan. That's good. I think there's a few people on here, including me, that wishes they were 18. I'm only 18. I work within financial services and accounts. Great sector. One thing I feel is that people may not take me seriously. Okay, I get the point. May not take me seriously. It hasn't happened yet. However, how would you best recommend taking control to gain that respect from directors or experienced managers? Or is it something I just have to roll with the punches? No. Tristan, here's the deal for you. Congratulations, first of all, for choosing recruitment as an industry. It is brilliant. The thing I love about it is it's non-discriminatory. And I know that's quite ironic because there's a lot of discrimination that goes on. But Tristan, like I know someone famously said about players in a particular football team, not my particular football team, but in another team, they said, if you're good enough, you're old enough. Now, what I mean by that is you are judged, and Tristan, write this down, you are judged by the questions that you ask, not by the products or services that you sell. All right, you are judged by the questions that you ask, not by the product. So Tristan, the point is, if you ask well-crafted, intelligent questions, they'll judge you on that. They don't care how old you are. They don't care, what colour we are. They don't care what gender you are. They will judge you. Now, I know there's discrimination. I do know that. And I, believe it or not, in my first early days of recruitment, I got that age discrimination. I was too young for the market that I was working. And I know people would look at me and they'd make an instant judgment. It was a long time ago when I looked younger. Make an instant judgment. Oh, what could this guy know about my business or about our industry? He's too young. But what I did was I had world-class processes in terms of the way that I took a job brief, the way that I presented my candidates. It was process, process, process. And if in doubt, rely on your process. You will appear professional, whether you're 60 or 16, 18 or 80. It's like professionalism wins. Okay, I hope that works. Let's have a look. Tristan, congratulations. I'm really, really pleased, and thanks for joining us today. Sam, hi Roy. What happens when you ask for the senior manager? I'm glad you guys are on here as well. Thank you. And Sam, I know Sam quite well. So what happens when you ask for the senior manager? Say it's a confidential call, and then simply put through to the recruitment manager in the company. Do you still pitch? Now the recruitment manager, I'm just trying to think, is okay, so the HR manager or something. Yeah, okay, right. The internal recruiter or the recruitment manager. Do you still pitch? I wouldn't. Actually, I really wouldn't. You know what I would do there, Sam? I'd switch to that multi-purpose call. So if I was put through to the recruiter, I was saying to him, oh, brilliant, thanks so much. Really, really pleased to be speaking to you. The reason for my call today was to find out what are you working on that you are, that's causing them. Actually, Sam, sorry, I'm just thinking about this. If they're the recruitment manager, yeah, actually, if they're the HR, even an internal recruiter, still pitch. Still pitch. Why not? It's not an ideal. If I've asked for the decision maker, it's not an ideal that I've been busted down. But you know what? If they're a decision maker, if they've got budget, if they're responsible for recruiting positions, I would introduce. But like, whether it's a decision maker or hiring manager, whatever, I do not reveal the candidate's name. I don't reveal any of the detail. I'm teaching you guys to suck eggs, you know that. Don't give away your collateral. Recruitment manager can tell me, oh, I know Bill. Yeah, I'll contact. But it's like you don't want to be getting into that. So be very, very vague. But in terms of building rapport with the recruitment manager, remember they have challenges too. So what do you find most difficult to recruit? How does it work here? Oh, we've got PSL. Not interested in the PSL. Congratulations first of all for having one. The reason for my call is different. All right. So just keep it away from pitching your services. Keep it more about the candidates we present. Gareth, I know that was a bit of a higgledy-piggledy answer. I hope that kind of it made sense. That was gold, Roy. Thank you, Chris. Have to run. See you next time. Chris, no worries at all, man. Good to have you on board. Gareth, what would your advice be to someone who's going into a new market and a new company at the start of next year? How can I make the most of the next 6 weeks to ensure that I really hit the ground running when I start? Gareth, follow that 10-point plan is the biggest advice that I can give you. Stick the legwork in now. You've got 6 weeks. And look, let's face it, I don't want to be the person that says to you, oh, the market all closed down. But you know what it's like. Everyone's on Christmas parties, no one's making decisions and all of that. Some of you I know work in sectors that are the complete opposite of that. Everyone's like, but for you, Gareth, I would say to you, use this 6 weeks to do that in-depth research. Use it, man. Become a student of your marketplace. You've got 6 weeks to do it and Christmas. Immerse yourself. Every magazine, every periodical, every trade association, every website, every forum, every LinkedIn group. Just get on it and learn. Be a sponge, okay? Find a great big advert write your pitch out on that advert, your indirect pitch. Write it out so that when it comes to that second week in January, you're back to work, boom, you hit the ground running. Have the list of companies that you're going to call. Have that ready so that when you come in on that second week in January, boom, you're on the phone and you're making calls. Okay, Gareth, I hope that helps you. I just see from D. Hi, James. Try to get everyone a PDF with a summary of the steps by email tomorrow. And she's saying, no, this won't be on Recruitment Juice. Right, okay. Gareth, question, I don't think it got missed. Is next to Peter's question. Gareth, I hope I got that. I hope I got your question there. Sorry, there's a little bit of a delay on my question thing. So, hope you got that answer, Gareth. Sam, what do you say when you're met with, thanks for your call, but we don't use recruiters? However, if the candidate's interested in working for us, please get them to contact us directly. Yeah, it's a crap one, that, isn't it, Sam? Right. What do you say when you met with, thanks for your call, we don't use recruiters? First of all, you know, it's like, however the candidates, ask them, look, it sounds like you've had a really bad experience with recruiters, tell them what happened. Try and get them to open up on it. This is a line that I used to use, whether it's going to work for you, Sam, or not, I don't know. But I used to turn around to them when they said, we don't work with recruiters, it's like, I don't blame you, I don't either. And it just breaks that pattern. I used to get them chuckling at that one and then go, look, it sounds like you've had a really bad experience, talk to me about it. And what you get is that, you know, we're punished for the sins of our, you know, so-called colleagues in the industry. Some recruiters have really screwed it up for us, and we know that. The line, however, if the candidate's interested in work for us, please get them to contact us directly. Say, look, thank you for that. I will pass that on to them. They've asked me to approach you and 2 of your competitors. If that doesn't come to fruition, then definitely I will get them to give you a buzz directly. Don't leave them with the upper hand, Sam, is what I'm saying. You know, don't leave them with the upper hand. A candidate's exploring, you know, a few options. They've engaged me in confidence to do this. So she's not on the open job market. She's not sending her CV out for stuff. She's asked me to approach you discreetly, confidentially, you and 2 others. When I will do those, and when I come back to her, I'll ask her to make that decision. Hope that helps. Thanks, Roy. Need to run. Much appreciated. Samantha, no worries at all. Peter, thank you greatly for your help and advice. Shoot forward. Peter, get in on these. Get to the royripper.com, register there, and you'll get notified. All the best for success. Peter, you're a gent. Thank you. Sorry, Roy, I've decided to lower in a bid to get you in the office. Lower the fee in a bid to get you in the office. Brilliant. Okay, good. Kelly, brilliant. I'll get you in the office. Fantastic. I'm pleased with that one. Good advice from Barry. Thank you. Roy, the real recruitment ripper. Barry, I love you. That's a really good thing for you to say. Thank you. Tristan, thanks again. Daniel, thanks, Roy. Appreciate the tips. Sam Evans, thanks, Roy. Gareth, awesome. Tristan, would you consider creating a junior mind group offset from your mastermind group? That makes sense. Tristan, you might have a point there. Do me a favour. Contact my office, info@royripper.com. Leave in your contact details, because I might talk to you about that idea. You know, it might be something that we do. Okay. Now, I've got through all those questions, so don't pop any more in there. But you can always email me. All right. So email me. I'd love to hear from you. Roy@royripper.com will get through to me. If you want any information to be sent to you, try info@royripper. That gets through to my team, and they'll give you stuff. One final thing to do with you. Some of you I know have asked in there, Roy, you know, we know your private coaching group's closed, the one-to-one coaching, but is there anything? I do have, as I mentioned earlier, Recruitment Masterminds, a 12-week online program. What I'm going to do is pop it up into a tab on your browser now. Rather than kind of go through it and tell you all the details and everything else, there's a short video on there and a subscription button, so it'll give you all the details. Don't feel obliged. Watch the video. It's like, you know, it'll tell you some stuff. It's helpful. If you're interested in that, click the button, get on the program, and you get the first module of that immediately. All right. So this training starts straight away. It's a 12-week program. Anyway, like I said, I didn't want to pitch it out. We've got, you know, it's now almost 1:30 UK time. I've got people from all over the country, all over the world, all over the globe, even some Virgin Galactic people in there as well. I'm joking. Listen, thank you so much for joining me. I love doing these sessions. I love working with like-minded recruitment leaders that want to take action. And it kind of gets me fired up. One thing I didn't say, any of you that go to that recruitment mastermind and register for it today, I'm going to give you, there's some bonuses, incredible bonuses on there. But if you do it today and you're one of the people that are on this webinar, I'm going to throw in an extra one-to-one session, so a 30-minute one-to-one consultation call with you, and that will happen next week. So for any of you that sign up today, that's an extra bonus. It's not mentioned in the video, it's not on the page. It's just something that I want to give you for hanging out with me today and to say thank you. Until I see you the next time, remember, work hard on your recruitment business, not just be busy working in it, and make a real difference in the lives of your clients, your candidates, and your colleagues. Till I see you again, take care. Bye-bye.